Hello everyone, welcome to episode 79 of our F1 Manager Save. Now, if you didn't watch last week's episodes, I suggest that you go back and watch them, specifically the Canadian Grand Prix on Thursday, because we got our first 1-2 as Ferrari team principal. There's been some questions raised about Mick Schumacher in this Ferrari team, but he certainly delivered in Canada, getting that 1-2 for the team, and that had a significant impact on the standings because it meant that we leapfrogged Red Bull in the constructor standings, pulling out a 30-point lead on Red Bull Racing. Not only that, in the driver's standings, Lando Norris extended his lead up to 64 points to the closest Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen gaining on Charles Leclerc as well, but Mick Schumacher moving up 2 places, jumping Danny Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen, and now up to P5 in the driver's standings. Are we starting to see a little bit of improvement from Mick? We certainly hope so, because this week we head to my home race, and that is the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. 52 laps round here. Max Verstappen's got the lap record. Expected strategies is a 2-stop, possibly medium, hard, medium. A 1-stop is possible as well. One thing to note, we have got car park developments going on as well. New ATR period has started. We've got new chassis, side pods and suspension all coming in around 10 to 17 days. So should be on in a couple of Grand Prix time, we hope. Probably not for the next one, but certainly the one after that. So that's everything I'm going to get through practice, and I'll see you in qualifying for the British Grand Prix.
Our race weekend continues as we head into qualifying. For those teams hoping to pick up points in tomorrow's race, qualifying is a great opportunity to get ahead of the competition. Whether a driver normally finds themselves as a front runner or a back marker, any advantage they can gain here today is sure to give them an edge. So here we are, ready to resume.
So here we are then, final laps in Q3. Both our cars have been comfortably through all weekend. Lando Norris is purple through the middle sector. He's top Q1 and Q2. Can he manage to get pole position in Q3? And to be fair, I think he's already done it before he crosses the line. Lando Norris got pole position on a used set of soft compound tyres at his home Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher coming across the line gets up to P5. 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths off his teammate, but Lando Norris, unless Kevin Magnussen pulls out a worldie lap, which I'm sure he isn't going to do, Lando Norris is on pole for mine and his home Grand Prix. Is there any stopping the British driver at the moment? I don't believe there is. Let's have a look at the strategies. Right then guys, after our sort of genius strategy calls in Canada, we're feeling a little bit confident. I'm sure you guys are confident, and it's a little bit more now at home as well. So what we're going to do is we are not going to use the hard compound tyre. Both our guys have got a fresh set of soft compound tyres. So in my book, that means we may as well just use the softer compounds. Looking at the medium to hard strategy, I reckon the medium softs will always have the tyre advantage, and I reckon both our guys can pull this off. So both cars are going to go medium softs. If there's a safety car, probably around lap 18, lap 19, we may change that. But that is the plan to go with. So first and third, obviously somebody's took a grid penalty as well. Both cars starting on the podium. Will both cars finish there? Let's get to 5 red lights. I'm looking forward to this one.
Anticipation is high, and the drivers are ready for this. The British Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are looking at Lando Norris, who looks like he's got a blistering start. And not only has he, it must be said as well, Mick Schumacher got a fantastic start as well. And it is Ferrari 1-2 at the start. Straight away, Mick Schumacher is going to be told, don't fight your teammate, because there's no need for that. And Mick Schumacher has done a fantastic job off the line there and has got into P2. He can now be the rear gunner for Lando Norris. That has worked perfectly well. Verstappen and Leclerc P3 and 4, but Magnussen's having a little look at Charles Leclerc, the man who is second, and Lando Norris's closest title challenger, and Kevin Magnussen, the man that we've been waxing lyrical about from afar. He's doing a great job once again. Look at the difference between Kevin Magnussen and Alexander Albon. Alexander Albon down in P15, Kevin Magnussen battling away with Leclerc and currently in P4, but it's neck and neck as they come up to Maggots and Beckett's. It's great work from Kevin Magnussen, and all it is doing is slowing Charles Leclerc down a little bit, and we're starting to drop Max Verstappen. That is quite interesting. We may just have to have a little look if we possibly can at the condition of the car for Verstappen and Leclerc. Once that comes up, once we've got past lap 1, we'll have a little look at that. But at the moment, it's 5 tenths gap to Verstappen, and we are tempted. Mick Schumacher's just gone fastest through the second sector. We are tempted to push on a little bit here with the 2 Ferraris and see if we can break the DRS. But as we come to the end of lap 1, it's Ferrari 1-2. And cutting back as we come to the end of lap 2 onto lap 3. We have dropped the Red Bulls 1.5 seconds. We've broken the DRS, and it must be said, the Red Bulls are fighting, which we're not allowing our 2 cars to do at this moment in time. We're just telling Mick Schumacher, just keep in touch with Lando Norris. He's got the pace. He will give you that DRS. And as soon as that happens, just utilise that. As you can see now, Mick Schumacher using that DRS all the way down this straight. Not a problem at all. Meanwhile, Verstappen is backing Leclerc up, so that's helping us massively. Magnussen's in this little train as well, and because Verstappen's backing Leclerc up, it must be said K-Mag is once again having a look at Charles Leclerc. Is he going to manage to get the job done here? He isn't, but Kevin Magnussen is in a real battle here at Silverstone this afternoon, but at the moment we're taking it nice and easy. Lap 3. And guys, as we come on to lap 11, just finishing off lap 10, I've got to say, this has possibly been the easiest race I've had as team principal. I've got Mick Schumacher conserving tyres. I've got Lando Norris just driving around, no problem at all, cruising around his home GP. It's absolutely superb. Charles Leclerc's dropped a few places. Verstappen and Leclerc not working well as teammates at this moment in time. And maybe that's because they are fighting for second place in the championship as well at the moment to be Lando Norris's closest competitor. Maybe that's something to note for the 2 Red Bull guys. And Perez is certainly getting in the mix. Checo Perez against his old mate Max Verstappen, his old teammate of course. It's looking very, very comfortable for us at this moment in time. Mick Schumacher's saving plenty of fuel, as is Lando Norris. We didn't really need to save on fuel, and we were going to run the fuel, but we didn't do that before the race. I think that's something we're going to look at the next Grand Prix. We don't seem to be too heavy on fuel at Ferrari, so that's going to really benefit us as we go later on into the season. But like I said, at this moment in time, it's just been Schumacher and Norris taking the time and cruising round at Silverstone. We'll have a full rundown of the top 10. It's Norris from Schumacher, Verstappen in P3. He leads this train of Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Ocon in the Lotus Renault doing well again. Magnussen dropped down to P8, as is George Russell in P9. He's keeping in there in the DHL Mercedes. Of course, it is home Grand Prix as well. And then comes Danny Ricciardo in the other McLaren, and really needs to start scoring some good points for the constructors standings. Vettel's in P11, Gasly P12, he'll be disappointed with that. And at the bike, we don't really have a look at the bike, so we will today. We've got Alexander Albon in P16, Stroll P17, Sargent, Maloney and Tsunoda bottom of the pile as Schumacher sets the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Lap 15, we've got a spin. Fortunately, it isn't a Ferrari, but it is a man that we know very well from this series. Pierre Gasly spinning out here at Silverstone. That's going to do him no favours. He's now back down in P13. The discussion's on the pit wall at this moment, so who's going to pit first and when are we going to pit at this moment in time? If we have a look at the tyre wear, Mick Schumacher's doing particularly well. It's probably going to be Lando Norris who pits first. We've got about a 21-second time consideration. Now at this moment in time, we'd be looking coming out towards the back, so it's just something we don't want to pit into traffic, and we can probably go a little bit later than a few more cars, so something to bear in mind there. But both our cars at this moment in time doing very, very well indeed. Lap 15. Lap 18, we've got a lot of cars pitting at this moment in time. Verstappen's in, Gasly's in, Russell's in, Sainz is in, Perez is in. We're keeping an eye on Perez at this moment in time, seeing where he's going to come out. He's got a long hold for Sergio Perez. He's going to be very, very frustrated with that. And now we're looking at where we can possibly get our 2 guys out. That is the important part now for us. We need a gap to get our 2 cars out, and we've got a little bit more time at this moment, so we're going to see what happens with these guys. But lap 18, we should be ready to pit very, very shortly. Lap 19, Lando Norris is in, and Mick Schumacher now has been told to push on while this is happening. I reckon he's going to come out around P9. He's going to have a little bit of traffic that he's got to negotiate, but he is going to be on faster tyres than the guys around him. So that's the plan. Let's see how this pays off. Gasly was maybe in touching distance. Let's have a look, see what happens here. We've got Vettel going past. Gasly, I'm assuming, is going to be coming down the start-finish straight very, very shortly as Lando Norris comes back out. Have we got anyone around him? Let's have a look. We can see Pierre Gasly coming past, but that is a nice gap. Is it for Lando Norris? No, he's got stuck behind Stroll. We did expect him to come out around there. He's got a little bit of work to do now as Lando Norris but I'm sure he can negotiate these cars pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher is going to be told to push, and bang in a couple of extra lap times and pit a little bit later on, lap 20. And lap 21, Mick Schumacher is into the pits. Now, we expect him to come out around Lando Norris. This is going to be very, very interesting to see if he jumps Lando Norris. He has been pushing since he came into the pit, so let's have a little look. A couple of the cars in front of Lando Norris did manage to pit as well, so that's freed him up a little bit. He's now chasing Pierre Gasly, is the one he's chasing. He's managed to get past Lance Stroll. Let's have a little look at the until now. So Lando Norris is very, very close to Pierre Gasly. Where is Mick Schumacher going to filter out here as he comes back onto the circuit? We're keeping an eye on where Lando Norris is and where Mick Schumacher is. And Lando Norris does come back out in front of Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher now on the fresher tyres as well. So it's as you were. We can't be too upset with that at this moment in time. Lap 22. Norris from Schumacher, it's net P1 and P2 for both our guys. And on lap 22, just as we finish that, Lando Norris did finally get past Pierre Gasly, possibly my two favourite drivers on this series, but Lando Norris definitely has got the machine that Pierre Gasly. Remember, Pierre Gasly could have had this car, he chose to reject the offer, and now Lando Norris is on the cusp, or very much on his way to winning a driver's title at Ferrari, and we know how important that move is. Now, what is a more important move, possibly, it could be argued, is Mick Schumacher getting past Pierre Gasly as well, because he wants to get on the back of Lando Norris. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can make light work of Pierre Gasly and then catch up to his teammate. That's something that he's got to do. I'm expecting Gasly to be pitting very shortly as well. Schumacher going to the outside here. He hasn't quite got the pace to get it done on the straight. Will he manage to get it done into the corner? It takes a wider line than the Frenchman in the Aston Martin. Gasly goes into the pits and Schumacher will get the DRS on his teammate. And it's pretty much as you were. And once again, we can tell Mick Schumacher to just chill out a little bit and let Lando Norris do the work. But it is a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix for the Brit at his home Grand Prix, a 129.5 for Lando Norris. And a little bit of a disaster. As you can see, Lando Norris is very much in front. Mick Schumacher has had a spin. That's going to lose him the DRS. He's still got enough of a gap to Charles Leclerc, but he's going to be more on his own now. Let's have a little look at this. He was following in behind Lando Norris. We were light on the tyres. We've tried to... He's just got a bit too happy on the throttle there, and Mick Schumacher spinning. Not ideal for him. It's made it a little bit less comfortable for him, that must be said, but he still should have the strategy option. And we are going to tell him now to push on the fuel a little bit as well and try and get back up towards Lando, his teammate. But Lando Norris has got about a 9-second gap, should we say, to Charles Leclerc. We expect that to keep increasing with the difference in the tyre compounds. But Norris and Schumacher still P1 and P2, but Schumacher has had a mistake. We've got a couple of cars running wide at this moment in time. We've just seen George Russell, but now Kevin Magnussen running wide. He didn't lose too much time, but he did let the McLaren right up the back of him, and that McLaren is Danny Ricciardo, as you can see at the top. Lando Norris absolutely cruising around Silverstone at the moment. You can see a little bit of cloud knocking around. If we have a look, we aren't expecting rain, but you never know with the British weather. Mick Schumacher is pushing as much as he can, but I don't believe he's going to manage to catch back up to his teammate. He now really needs to be focusing on making this two-stop work and securing another 1-2 for Ferrari. But Lando Norris is just fit to this Ferrari. Well, like most people would enjoy it when they sat in a Ferrari, it's just working for Lando Norris. Lap 29. We have got cars pitting. Lap 37. Verstappen is in, Ricciardo's in, Russell's in, Ocon is in as well. Charles Leclerc is the man we're looking at. We're going to get Norris and Schumacher in very, very shortly. It's probably going to be Norris, not this lap, next lap for the soft compound tyres, and then we'll get Schumacher in as well. But lap 37, people on the two-stop, a lot of cars coming in. Lap 38, in comes Lando Norris for his final pit stop of the Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher is pushing away as we can see him coming down the into the final corners there. But Lando Norris, let's see if he gets out in any traffic. I'm hoping he's not going to have too much to contend with here. Maybe he'll have to pass Guan Yu Zhou, but I'm not convinced he will. And if he does have to pass him, he's on the soft compound tyre. I expect Lando to pass him, but he's not going to have to pass him because Guan Yu Zhou is just entering the pit lane. I expect Lando to be out into clean air. We can now tell Lando Norris to take your time, son. We've got a yellow in sector 3, competitor running wide. we're not going to get a view of who that is just yet. We're going to tell him to be light on the tyres. We don't need him to be. It's Charles Leclerc. Let's have a little look at this. It's not a massive mistake. He runs wide. It's not the safest re-entry. The Nissan goes past him there, but Mick Schumacher will be in next lap. And next lap it is, lap 40. Schumacher in for his stop onto a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Out he goes. Listen, Mick Schumacher could have been battling for a win today. Let's make no bugs about no bearing about that, should I say. What it must be said is, it's made my job easier as a team principal because he's not going to be battling his teammate now. He can just now go to the end on these tyres. We're going to put him on light tyre mode, the same as Lando Norris. The reasoning behind that is to just try and minimise the mistake, and we might push for a fastest lap for both of the guys at the end. And to be fair, we do need a fastest lap to take that off. Esteban Ocon is the man who holds that at the moment. Closest competitor to Mick Schumacher really is Pierre Gasly, despite Vettel still being out there. Although Vettel may be going to the end, so he's got a nice cushion to Vettel now, but we expect on these soft compound tyres both guys to really push it. We'll go standard with me, just give him that little bit of extra oomph maybe, but Lando Norris probably will get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Lap 40, we might as well have a full rundown. It's Norris from Schumacher, Vettel is in P3, Gasly P4. If we just have a look at the pit stops, Vettel, Gasly, Stroll, Maloney, Zhou are the ones that haven't made 2 pit stops. So we've got Stroll, Leclerc in P7 after that mistake. He's been battling with his teammate all afternoon, which probably not helped him. Maloney in the Nissan is in P8. He's doing very well for himself, it must be said. Then comes Zhou Guanyu in the Lotus Renault. George Russell in P10. Perez and Ricciardo, the McLarens, both outside the top 10. And on lap 43, just a little tester. We've gone for the fastest lap. Lando Norris at 1:27.2. Let's see if Mick Schumacher can emulate that. If we just fast forward this on a little bit, in fact he's got another lap to go over. He's deploying on the ERS. I'm just intrigued to see if we just fast forward this on. This is a screen that you guys don't see while I'm fast forwarding, but Mick Schumacher crosses the line. Is he going to manage to take the fastest lap off Lando Norris? Let's have a look at this. Mick Schumacher crosses the line and doesn't. Lando Norris, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, lap 44. Lead driver, last lap, and to be fair, this has been as easy a Grand Prix as I've had to manage in my time on this series. You've been with us when we've been stuck at the back with Aston Martins, when we've just built, we've got into that midfield, and now with the team at Maranello, we have built a car that looks capable of winning a championship. Lando Norris looks more than capable of winning a championship, and it must be said, we're looking at Mick Schumacher at the moment going round. Mick Schumacher has had his spin today. There will be the critics, we know this. But let me know down in the comments, is Mick Schumacher starting to change your opinion of him? Because to be fair, apart from that spin, and look, we've got the strategy bang on today, he's had a very, very good performance and he's starting to back Lando up. But Lando Norris is currently driving around Silverstone in a Ferrari. Maybe this is what he should be doing in real life, because he doesn't look like he's going to do it in a McLaren. What a performance this is. And we've been on conserve mode for the last few laps, just making sure that minimising the errors if we possibly can, keeping the tyres in good condition, and that is all we can ask for. But as Ferrari team principal, what a performance at his home Grand Prix. They've got an Englishman in Italy, and we've got an Englishman in car 1, and Lando Norris, as he comes round the final corner, has won the British Grand Prix. It's back-to-back wins for Lando Norris. He's enjoying that. Brilliant racing, as Marcos says. Absolutely brilliant from Lando Norris. Mick Schumacher comes on P2. Bono congratulating him on the radio, but we cannot see this too many times. Lando Norris winning his home Grand Prix. What a performance, and what a brilliant drive from Lando Norris. No mistakes, no issues. What a drive from him, and I'm sure we're going to get a shot of him in the car. There we go, taking the adulation from the home support. What a performance. Let's get forward now. Leclerc and Verstappen have been at it all afternoon. What we might do actually is just ride on board with this. Can Verstappen do Leclerc up to the line? He can't, and I'm sure Leclerc feels that's a little bit of payback for those early laps that we saw. Zhou Guanyu is going to come home in P5, but we'll get to the full classifications, but not before we get to the Silverstone podium.
Lando Norris can be proud. What a fantastic performance from him. this podium is a remarkable achievement for the whole team. And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
Well guys, I think that has been one hell of a Grand Prix, and we can see the podium scenes there. Mick Schumacher's looking very much a part of this team now, and Mick Schumacher comes in P2. It's another 1-2 for Ferrari. 1:27.2 fastest lap. Mick Schumacher had better tyres when he attempted his, only a 1:27.5. I think 3/10 is probably the difference between the two. That's probably a fair assumption. Leclerc P3, Verstappen P4. Good points for Red Bull once again, keeping the pressure on in both the constructors and the drivers' standings, really. Guan Yu Zhou in the Lotus Renault did very, very well again. Gasly got P6 after that spin. Vettel P7, Russell P8, Stroll P9, and Daniel Ricciardo snatches the final points playing position off his teammate Checo Perez. Drivers' standings-wise, Lando Norris now, I mean, God, I've got to start adding these up a bit quicker. What's that? 76 points now, the gap between himself and Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen a further few points back. Mick Schumacher jumps Checo Perez. He's now closing in on Max Verstappen, and it's 2 podiums from 2 for Mick Schumacher. Constructors standings wise, we're up to 311 points, so that's 48 points. If my maths is wrong as well, please don't, I don't mind you taking the me. Ferrari down top of the constructors, Red Bull in P2, McLaren are falling away very, very quickly in this championship race. Audi, though it must be said, doing very, very well in P4. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I've got to say I really enjoyed it because I just sat back and watched my drivers drive, and that's what I like to do. And I must say, last 2 races, I think we've nailed the strategy, and it's got to keep going that way if we're going to win these titles. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.